What could be better than growing strawberries now, ready for summer? But instead of just growing your strawberries, why not put herbs in your strawberry pot too? The best time to plant your pot is through May and June. This is late enough to make sure you've missed the cold spells, but also early enough to make sure that your plant's got plenty of time to get established. The first thing we need to do is to make sure that our pot has got sufficient drainage. Yeah, this particular pot has got a drainage hole on the front, but other pots may have holes located in other areas, such as on the base. So what we're going to do is put a couple of stones inside the pot, just over the hole, and what that does is stops the soil from clogging up the hole, therefore preventing excess water from getting out further down the line. The next step is to start putting compost into our pots. I've chosen this all-purpose peat-free compost. It's absolutely perfect for various projects around the garden, planting containers, hanging baskets and the like, and be absolutely ideal for what we're doing today. So we're going to start putting our compost in, starting from the base up to the first set of holes. It's really important that as we put the compost in, we're firming the compost down to make sure that the compost stays neatly within the pot and doesn't spill out the holes. It's always good to have slightly wet compost, which helps prevent the compost from tumbling out the sides. This particular pot has got 8 holes, so we can afford to have 8 plants around the side, but there's also room on top for a further 2 plants. It's really nice to get out into the garden centre and choose the varieties that you like the look of. So some varieties are grown for the larger fruits, some of them are grown for smaller fruits, but often a lot sweeter. But you can have a look at all the different varieties that are there and make your selections. So we've also chosen a selection of herbs. We've got sage, oregano, parsley and thyme. We've also selected the basil, which we're going to plant in the top of our container. It's really important that we protect this one from frost due to its tender nature and its thin leaves. What we need to do is to make sure that our plants are well watered. So a good way to test is to take one of our plants out of the pot and just check that the soil is nice and dark. That indicates there's plenty of water around the roots. If your plants aren't wet enough, all you need to do is to sit the pots in a tray of water for up to an hour. So for a nice visual appearance, we're going to be putting our herbs and our strawberries into the pot in an alternate fashion, starting at this lower row of holes. So we're going to take our time, remove it from its pot. What we're going to need to do to get it through the hole is to squeeze the root ball into as tight a ball as possible. It won't mind it in the slightest, and we're going to push it through as much as we can, so we've got all the compost inside the pot and all the plant outside. And once that's done, we're going to rotate the pot and plant our first strawberry. So again, we're going to take it out the pot, roll the root ball into a small ball like this. Again, squeeze it into the pot. If a bit of compost falls off, that doesn't matter. And again, just like the herb, make sure all the compost is inside the pot with all the green part of the plant outside. And we're going to continue rotating our pot, selecting our herbs and strawberries exactly as we like. So now we're going to fill up our pot up to the next row of holes. And then once that's done, we're going to repeat exactly what we did on the first layer. So now we've planted our side pockets, we're going to plant the top of the pot. So a bit like before, we're going to fill the plant pot up with this compost. The important thing to remember is not to fill it right to the top. The reason behind that is when we come to water, we don't want the water and the compost to spill back out of the top. There we go, ready to plant the top layer. We're going to put our last 2 plants into the top of the pot. Again, just check that the strawberry plants and the herbs are well watered. And all I'm doing is making a small hole with my hand. You haven't got to squeeze the root ball so much on this one, and just sink the plant into the pot and backfill. And likewise, we're going to do that again for the basil plant. And there we go. So now we've finished planting our container, it's really important that we give it a really good water. So we start by watering the top, making sure there's enough in there to get down to the bottom of the pot. We can't forget the side pockets as well. So a good idea is just to slightly press just above the plant. Remove the rose of the watering can and water just above it. If any compost falls out, that's not a problem. We can top that up again later. And of course, don't forget to feed your pot. So a good liquid high potassium fertiliser applied twice a week would do wonders. So unlike your bedding plants, it's really important not to deadhead your strawberries. The centre part of the flower grows and then develops into the strawberry itself. And as soon as you see your first red strawberry, as tempting as it is to pick it, I'd suggest leaving it. The plant hormones that are in the actual strawberry will transfer out to nearby strawberries and make them ripen quicker. The other thing is that birds really love strawberries. So a good thing to do is to hang a small bit of foil on a string on a nearby tree to act as a bird scarer. And with the herbs, when they come into flower, just chop the flowers off with a pair of scissors. That will encourage more leaves to grow, which is what you want for your cooking. The best place to put this is in a nice sunny spot, and if you can, as close to the kitchen door as possible.